guys, this is Marcel Vlogs here, and I'm doing a tutorial on how to change your spur gear and pinion gear on the Traxxas slash 4x4. And I already tried doing this video once, so I kind of skipped the back part. But I'll tell you the screws you need to remove. You need to remove the screw that goes right here. It covers the motor. The 2 screws at the top. And then the 2 screws right here. So once those 2 screws are removed, you can pull away your rear differential and from your chassis. So once you pull apart, you'll have your diff, or I call it anything else. So my spur gear, I'm still going to keep it for just in place, but there's a little spot where it's like grooved out from the pinion gear, where it went like this, just eroded the way the side of the motor. So I'm replacing this one. Because don't put Loctite in here, but I put Loctite in here. And it like filled up the threading in the screw. It's all filled up with Loctite, so I had to buy a new pinion and spur. So once you do that, you take the motor out and you can remove it, or you could just leave it in. You can leave your motor in right where it is. And this should come out fairly easy. If your bearings are all, you can replace your bearings over here, replace the screens or anything else you need. My bearings are rusted, but it's still workable. So once my thing gets ruined, I gotta get a new one, which I don't have any extras. So here's my new spur. Look at the difference: new spur and old spur. They're both the same, but the teeth are still the same. I still got the same ones. These are 54 teeth. You can just read the plate. Just go on Traxxas. I'll leave the link to Traxxas and everything where I got these from. But I got them from my hobby store close by. So yeah. So first thing you want to do is remove. Well, actually, if this doesn't come off easy, it should be not on there. It should be inside, right where that is. But mine's all bad, so I'm using a screwdriver. I'm gonna pop it off. This might not work out too good. Actually, first, I'm not even gonna do that. I'm just gonna remove this screw to keep this in there. Or I can find the tool. I think this is the tool. My Allen wrenches are all stripped, so I gotta get new ones. And be careful not to let the screw get stripped, because then that'll be bad. Trust me, I've got it stripped and it's not that fun. Okay, so once that's done, it should slide off. Locked in there. Why? There we go. Should slide off easy. Don't put Loctite in there, because you are going to have to change it eventually if you want to get a new drive shaft for it. And if you want, when you're doing this, you probably could check your brake pads in the rear. I have to get new ones because one's all broken and stuff, but I'm going to wait till they're all gone. So, you're going to want to take your wrench. That's this one. And you're going to want to remove this nut right here. So once you get the screw undone and the spring, you put it over so you won't lose it, and your bearing should slide right out from where it is. I'm having a problem with mine. I always have problems. It's just that plastic. If I were you, I'm going to be upgrading this plastic piece. For some reason, mine came with plastic and my brother's came with aluminum. So, I would upgrade these to aluminum so they're a lot easier to slide in and out. And these plastic ones are a pain in the butt. They don't last as long and they're just a pain. So, once you have that done, your spur gear should slide right out. And there should be the brake pads. You can see this one is something that came off us for a couple days. Came off when I was driving it. So there's a bearing inside. If that bearing's all messed up or anything, you can remove that bearing. And if you hear any weird noise, it's pretty much this bearing, or it's this bearing that got shredded up into a million pieces. And this part holds the pad in there on the clutch. So to replace your spur gear, you need to remove this. And there are 3 screws. One there, and one there. So okay, come back one more. So once those screws are removed, your pad back here should come out. And for some reason today, I'm having a big problem with it. So it should come out nice and easy. Be careful not to drop it either. It's not gonna break, but still. So I'm gonna set that aside here. And I gotta get this bearing out. These come out very easy. And check and see if it's stiff or anything. I got a ton of bearings, but if it's like rust, I mean not if it's rusted, it doesn't really matter. But as long as it spins and it's not super tight, and if you're really making it turn, then I would replace it. So I'm gonna replace mine because you can see it's kind of indented right there. I think that's bad. So I gotta take one of the bearings that I have here. And just look at this bearing, nice and smooth. I wish you could, if you feel it, you'd understand. This one, I have to make it turn. It's super tight. I'm just gonna keep it for just in case, because it still spins. But I'm gonna keep it just in case I need an extra bearing. So, yeah. But I don't know why I'm keeping it, because look at all these bearings that I have. So, you could take your bearings back. And now I'm gonna take my new spur, old spur, new spur. I'm gonna put the bearing back in. This is much better which way the bearings go in. And for when you put this back on, they have to be facing in this way. You'd think they would go on this way, but this is where the screws go in. So this should fit right in there. You might have to press it in, or just push it in, push it down, but it should lock in there. You won't hear a snap or anything, it's just gonna fit. And you want to put these 3 screws that you took out back in there. And I might as well keep it going. So, you kind of want to make them tight. Why would you not make them tight? You want to make them tight. And make sure that they don't come loose when you're driving. So I'll come back when this is done. So once those 3 screws are back in, you could take these 2 pieces, break it back together, because this come loose, it's not going to be nice. So I usually put it up like that, and I slide this in. It should fit in there just right. And spin it. If you spin it, it'll spin right around. Perfectly fine. So then you're gonna want to slide your bearing back on. Ugh. Go. Mine's tough. You can tell. This should be nice. It still should spin. It's good. And with these 2 pieces, this is the tricky part. If you have it too loose, it's gonna spin, but it won't have enough power to spin the whole car. If you make it too tight, the tighter the slipper clutch is, the more speed you're gonna get. So, I make mine usually tight, and that'll be more power to the rear wheels and everything else. So, if you make it too tight, you're gonna ruin something. So, it's kind of hard to tell how tight you have it. So I don't really have a method on how to do it, but yeah. So you're gonna want to make it tight enough to do it. So the spring should be tight enough. That looks tight enough. The spring shouldn't have they should be fine. Should put on the weight. If you need to adjust it again, you could just take it out and readjust it again. So you gotta put now you gotta put these 2 things back on. This that goes on there, and the screw. So I'll be back when I'm So now when you're done with that, set it right back in and make sure it lines back up with this. And that should go in. You really, if your bearing's already in there, keep it in there. Don't take it out and put it on this. So now it should be fine. So now we're going to put the pinion gear on the motor. And the motor has a flat piece. Put it on there. I've learned my mistakes and putting it on the other side because it just spun and spun and spun. And I went through 3 spur gears already. This was the 4th one. And now I'm on the 5th. So now we're adding. So now we're going to put the spur pinion gear on. No, I lost pinion gear. So yep. So when I can't find it, I'll come right back. Okay, I found it. So now there should be 2 screws come in the package. Should be a little hex, not hex, whatever kind of screw, and then you got your pinion gear. So the pinion, the hole, should slide right up, and I think it should go all the way to the back. So if you want, I usually would put it in first. But alright, Allen head. Make sure if you strip it, you'll be in trouble. Because I've stripped it and it's super hard to get off. Make sure it's super tight too. Because you spin it, it's not that fun when it's stripped and it just doesn't work. And it just rips the whole spur gear like you wouldn't believe. So be careful about the tightness. I gotta stand up. This Allen wrench doesn't come with it. I just got it from my aluminum hexes that I got. So, yeah. That's not tight enough because I just put a little bit of a crank. And it's not tight enough. So, I want to remove my thing here just so that I actually can turn my... Yeah, I really wouldn't do it. You could do it if you wanted to take this off. But be careful because these screws can get stripped. And I've had these were stripped when I got mine. And I had to get a new motor plate for it. So, yeah. And if you want, you're supposed to put Loctite on these screws. But I didn't put Loctite on because I'm going to be eventually getting a new motor. So, why am I going to struggle again to put Loctite on them? I'm just going to have to take this off then. So, yeah. Come right off. Now your motor should be nice and clear. So, find my tool and make it as tight as possible. Now I'm just stripping the screw, which doesn't make any sense why that screws up so high. So, it should be in. If it comes stripped again, I'm going to be mad. So I'll just ask Traxxas what I should do then. So, put the plate back on. Don't understand why I took the plate off now, because I'm struggling to get it back on. So, when you have it, should line up just right. And it's a little bit too far up. So, yep. Put the 2 screws back on, and I'll be right back. So now that you got those screw, now you got that screw in, you have your motor mount and motor, your pinion, your spur gear. So you're going to want to have a piece of paper now, because this will be able to line up the gears up. And I don't want to make it too big. I'm going to leave the back off just so I can get the paper on and off all the time. Get my stand so it's easy for me to see. And now I'm going to take the piece of paper. You don't need a big piece, but I like it bigger so that I can, so it'd be nice to fit. The paper will leave perfect amount of room for this pinion gear to move, because you don't want too much play or not enough play. If it's too much, you could strip it, and not enough, it'll make it want to move around, and it just won't work. It's too big. Get it going. But while you're doing this, you're going to want to take your screw actually first and put it in. make it tight enough so that it'll go in, but tight enough that it, not enough tightness so that it won't, so you can move it. See, now it's all lined up like this. You can just throw it away there. And tighten that screw up and it should be good to go. So I'll come back with the screws. So now that these screws are tightened, you can put your back on now. And this is the hard part. I usually put mine, that back piece up because they're square. And inside there, it is square also. You gotta line them up. So it's hard for me to see all the time. So I gotta put it like that. So I'll try not to move it. Should go right in. If you turn it, yep, this is not working because it's not lined up. Yep. Moves this way. Now it's lined up, I think. So once you have that back piece on, you're going to want to put those screws in. The 2 back screws here. And the 2 top screws right there. So, take me a minute. And I'll be back when those are done. And now that you got those 2 screws in, you can put your motor mount on. And this tiny little screw. So, yep, that's it. Once you guys have this step in, it should be complete. And tell me in the comments if this helped you out. And tell me if you need, and what else should I choose for the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And out next, and next video I'll be doing is going to be how to fill these shocks up that I have on there. So, don't forget to go click on see that video. And see you later, guys. Bye.